Geralt of Rivia is not friendly. He is not energetic. He barely smiles. And somehow, almost every powerful woman in the continent is interested in him. So clearly, he knows something that we don't. But Gerald's charisma doesn't come from being loud. He doesn't try to dominate every conversation. He doesn't tell everyone how dangerous he is. And he definitely doesn't spend 5 minutes explaining himself. Gerald is charismatic because he looks like he has absolutely nothing to prove. And today, we're going to steal that. Not the white hair, not the swords, and probably not the emotional damage. Just the useful parts. So, how do you become as charismatic as Geralt of Rivia? First, you need to stop talking so much. Now, this does not mean you should answer every question with
Interesting.
although it would save a lot of time. The point is that Geralt doesn't speak just to fill silence. When someone talks to him, he listens, he waits, then he says what he actually means. And because he doesn't throw 10 sentences at you, the one sentence he does say feels more important. Someone asks us a simple question, and suddenly we're giving them their digest commentary. We explain the answer. Then we explain why we give the answer. Then we explain how they should understand the explanation. And somewhere in the middle, we lose the point. Gerard doesn't do that. He gives you the answer and lets the silence handle the rest. The silence is important because when you're comfortable with it, you look calm. When you're afraid of it, you start saying things you never planned to say. You overshare, you repeat yourself, you make a good joke, then explain why it was funny, which immediately kills it. So the first lesson is simple. Say what you mean, then stop. You don't need to sound mysterious. You don't need to lower your voice and stare at people like they owe you money. Just don't rush to fill every empty second. Because charisma is not always knowing what to say. Sometimes it's knowing when you've already said enough. And Gerard stays quiet for another reason too. He's really the most nervous person in the room, which brings us to the second lesson. Stop reacting to everything. Stop reacting to everything. Gerard is surrounded by people who are constantly panicking. Someone is shouting. Someone is threatening him. Someone is convinced the world is ending. And Gerard is just standing there like, right. That calm makes him look powerful. Not because he always knows what to do, but because he doesn't let the room decide how he should feel. That's important, because the fastest way to lose your presence is to match everyone else's panic. Someone gets angry, so you get angry. Someone becomes awkward, so you become awkward. Someone challenges you, and suddenly you feel like you need to prove something. Gerard Lady takes the bet, he listens, he looks at the situation, then he responds at his own speed. And no, this doesn't mean becoming emotionless. If someone insults you, you're allowed to care. If something goes wrong, you're allowed to react. The point is not to become a statue. The point is to leave a small gap between what happens and what you do next. That gap is where confidence lives. It gives you time to choose your response instead of handing control to whoever is loudest. So next time someone says something annoying, don't immediately launch your counterattack. Pause. Look at them. Think for 1 second. You might still say the same thing, but now it feels like your decision. And once you stop reacting to everyone, you also stop needing everyone to like you. Gerard does not spend much time trying to be liked, which is useful, because all the continent already hates witchers. He knows people will judge him before he even speaks, so he spot building his responsibility around their approval. That's a big part of his charisma. He has his own standards, he knows what he believes, and even when people disagree with him, he doesn't immediately force you to make the moment easier. A lot of people lose confidence because they keep checking themselves. Did that sound stupid? Do they like me? Should I change my answer? So the more you chase approval, the less natural you become. Because now you're not really talking, you're performing. Gerald doesn't perform, he can be awkward, he can be rude, he can make the wrong choice. But at least the choice feels like his. And that doesn't mean ignoring everyone's opinion. Sometimes you are wrong, sometimes you should listen. The goal is not to become stubborn. It's to stop treating every reaction like a final verdict on who you are. Not everyone has to understand you. Not everyone has to like you. And you don't need to win every room. Because the moment you stop begging for approval, you become much easier to respect. But Gerard can get away with all of this for one very important reason. He is actually good at what he does. This part is less exciting. Because unfortunately, charisma is not just posture and good timing. You also need to be useful. Gerard looks confident because he usually knows what he's doing. He studies the problem, he prepares, then he handles it. He doesn't need to keep reminding everyone that he's capable. They can see it. And that changes the way he carries himself. When you trust your own skills, you stop forcing confidence, you stop pretending, you stop trying to look impressive every second. Because real confidence is usually quiet. It comes from knowing I've done this before, or at least I can figure this out. That applies outside monster hunting too. You become more charismatic when people feel they can rely on you, when you keep your word, when you stay useful under pressure, when you actually know something instead of just sounding like you do. And yes, this means there is no shortcut. You can copy Gerard's voice, you can wear black, you can stare into the distance like life has disappointed you. But if you can't handle basic problems, the mystery disappears very quickly. So build something real underneath the attitude. Learn your craft. Get comfortable being a beginner. Become the person who can help when something goes wrong. Because the easiest way to look confident is to have a reason to be. But competence alone will only make Gerald impressive. It's not what makes him human. That comes from the path he tries hardest to hide. Gerald likes to act like nothing really gets to him. Like he's just doing the job, take the contract, kill the monster, get paid, move on. But that's obviously not true. He cares a lot more than he wants people to notice. And that matters. Because without that side of him, Gerard would not be charismatic. He will just be a quiet man with a good hair. What makes him interesting is the contrast. He looks cold, but he's not empty. He acts detached, but he still protects people. He complains and then helps anyway. The small softness is what stops his confidence from becoming arrogance. Because being calm is attractive, being capable is attractive. But if people feel nothing from you, they won't connect with you. So no, becoming more like Gerard does not mean hiding every emotion. It means you don't need to show everything to everyone. But when something matters, you let it matter. Care about people, keep your word, be kind about turning it into a performance. You can still look tired while doing it. Gerard certainly does. And once you put all of that together, the silence, the calm, the confidence, and the fact that underneath all of it you actually care, you finally understand why Gerard has so much presence. And unfortunately, the white hair was never the secret. So to become as charismatic as Gerard, talk less, react slower, stop begging to be liked, and become good at something useful. Simple. Not easy, but simple. And don't copy the surface. You don't need the voice, you don't need the swords, you definitely don't need to start calling people wines howling. What makes Gerald charismatic is that he feels solid. He knows who he is, he doesn't rush to prove it, And when something matters, he shows up. So next time you feel nervous in a conversation, don't try to become more interesting. Pause, listen, say what you mean, then let the moment breathe. And if that doesn't work out, just say,